Yep, she got caught. We just uncovered something about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez that exposes literally everything you need to know about the socialist movement in America today. And by the end of this video, you're going to see the undeniable pattern that connects AOC's behavior to every single failed socialist regime in history. This isn't just about hypocrisy anymore. This is about an ideology destined for the ash heap of history, and we're about to see precisely why. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your patron professor, here to help you make sense of the madness as the far left desperately tries to stop the unstoppable rise of a new conservative age that you're making happen all over the world. So if you want a front row seat on how you're changing the world in ways you never even imagined, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. The new Federal Election Commission filings just dropped, and they revealed that the sitting member of Congress, who's the single loudest critic of the rich in America, couldn't help her own indulgence in a lifestyle bathed in wealth. AOC's campaign spent nearly $50,000 in Puerto Rico between June and September of this year. We're talking luxury hotels, high-end restaurants, and massive venue rentals. AOC's campaign dropped over $15,000 on lodging at two upscale San Juan hotels, the Hotel Palacio Provincial and Hotel El Convento. Now, keep in mind, this is all as AOC's repeatedly criticized the gentrification that's been happening in Puerto Rico of late. The Hotel Palacio Provincial is an adults-only boutique hotel in a 19th century historic building where rooms start at nearly $300 and a night, and suites go for well over $400. One single payment to this hotel from Cortez's campaign on September 29th was nearly $10,000. Then there's the dining. AOC's campaign spent over $10,000 in catering and meals at some of San Juan's most exclusive restaurants, the kind of spots where the elites go to see and be seen. But here's where it gets really interesting. The filings show that AOC's campaign spent more than $23,000 on, quote, venue rental at the Coliseo de Puerto Rico, the same arena where she was caught on video dancing it up in a suite at a Bad Bunny concert back in August. So she literally rented the venue at one of Puerto Rico's largest and most prestigious arenas, enjoyed a Bad Bunny concert, filmed herself having the time of her life, and then charged it all to her campaign funds. Now, remember, this is the same AOC who wrote on Facebook that very same summer, quote, Puerto Rico is an island for working people. We won't be pushed out just so vulture capitalists can cash in. She was literally railing against greedy millionaires and gentrification, all the while dropping 50 grand on luxury getaways. I mean, you literally can't make this stuff up. And it doesn't stop there. This Puerto Rico spending spree is just the latest chapter in AOC's champagne socialist lifestyle. So earlier this year, during her Fighting Oligarchy tour with Bernie Sanders, you heard that right, Fighting Oligarchy, she was caught red-handed deplaning a private jet that costs, again, I kid you not, $15,000 per hour. But as it turns out, that was just the tip of the iceberg. We've since learned that her campaign spent thousands more on luxury accommodation. She dropped $3,500 at the Videra Hotel and Spa in Las Vegas, a 5-star resort on the Strip with views, the Bellagio fountain. She spent $3,500 on the Asher Adams autograph collection in Salt Lake City, where the restaurant serves $900 bottles of wine and $95 caviar appetizers. She racked up nearly $3,500 at the Hotel Vermont in Burlington. She even spent $6,300 at a fancy D.C. restaurant called Ama. All of this while telling you, the working American, that billionaires shouldn't exist and that we need to tax the rich into oblivion. She's one of you. But the key with AOC is that none of this is new. FEC and ethics investigations have found repeated appearances of violations on AOC's part. For example, you remember that Met Gala event that she attended back in 2021 when she wore the rich dress. The House Ethics Committee officially found that AOC violated House ethics rules by getting a sweetheart deal on that dress. She underpaid for it by approximately $3,000, and she improperly accepted a free $35,000 ticket for her then boyfriend, Riley Roberts. She actually entered office shrouded in scandal back during her 2018 congressional campaign. Her campaign manager at the time reportedly funneled over $1 million campaign dollars to his own personal companies that he owned. So there's a whole clear pattern of behavior here. And it's not just AOC. I mean, AOC learned it from the master herself, Nancy Pelosi, who runs around denouncing the rich while making tens of millions of dollars on insider trading. She's been doing it for years. Just imagine how much you could make if you had the same insider trading information that Nancy Pelosi has. Well, guess what? You and I actually do. We have access to that very same inside information. Thanks to a little known SEC database, we can see what and when corporate CEOs are buying up in real time, and then we get to piggyback on their trades to gain the same advantage for ourselves. Gang, that's why you have got to click on that link below and sign up for a free training with me and my good friend Ross Givens. It's this Thursday, December 18th at 3 p.m. Eastern. Ross is an insider trading expert whose recommendations have led to investment returns of over 200%. Some have hit as high as nearly 1,500%. It's going to be an absolutely amazing free training where you and I can learn how to trade with the exact same insider knowledge as these politicians, but legally and ethically. But don't wait. Seating registration is limited, so click on that link below right now and register today, and I'll see you for an event that promises to change your life. The pattern that we see with AOC and Pelosi is a pattern that's endemic to socialism itself. It's a pattern that repeats itself every single time socialism takes hold. Let me explain. So socialism promises equality, right? It promises to lift up the working class and tear down the wealthy elites. But what actually happens every single time is that socialism serves as the vehicle to simply create a new ruling class, a ruling class that lives in luxury while everyone else suffers. Now, that kind of corruption isn't a bug in the system. It's a feature. I mean, look at Venezuela. Hugo Chavez promised to fight corruption and redistribute wealth to help the poor. What happened? Massive nationalizations, price controls, and welfare expansion didn't just lead to economic collapse. Reports are that Venezuelan regime officials have siphoned off more than $500 billion for themselves in the process. That's $500 billion stolen while the Venezuelan people starved. The regime created a system where party officials and military leaders enjoyed privileges unavailable to ordinary citizens. But again, that's just par for the course when you create a new political class on the backs of taxpayers. Or look at Cuba. I mean, Fidel Castro claimed he would eliminate the corruption of the previous regime, and instead, his government institutionalized corruption through government monopolies, cronyism, and lack of accountability. High-ranking members of Cuba's elite were able to enjoy privileges that ordinary citizens could never access. The state controlled everything, which created perfect conditions for corruption to flourish. And don't even get me started on the Soviet Union. The entire system ran on greed and corruption. Why does this always happen? It's because socialism concentrates enormous power and wealth in the hands of government officials. By virtue of their confiscatory policies, they suddenly become privy to the same power and wealth that they denounced entrepreneurs and business owners of having. And the irony is that they end up engaging in the very corruption they accuse wealthy business owners of engaging in. But it's infinitely worse, because when the state controls the means of production, distribution, and exchange, when it controls where people work, what they produce, businesses, housing, food, healthcare, education, literally everything, the people running that system, in effect, become untouchable. They become unequal equalizers. And there's no independent checks and balances, no free press to hold them accountable, no competing power centers to balance against government authority. And here's the brutal truth that Lord Acton understood centuries ago. Power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. When you give fallible human beings total control over an economy and tell them, they're building utopia, they're inevitably going to start serving themselves. They'll tell themselves they deserve the nice hotels and the expensive meals because of the important work they're doing. They rationalize their privileges as necessary for their mission. And before long, the gap between the ruling elite and the people they claim to represent becomes an unassailable chasm. That's exactly what we're seeing with AOC and Bernie Sanders. Bernie owns 3 homes, gang. He owns 3 freaking homes worth nearly $2 million. His net worth is estimated to be upwards of $5 million, putting him in the top 1% wealthiest Americans. He made over $1 million in both 2016 and 2017, primarily from book royalties. And yet he tours the country with AOC, lecturing working class Americans about the oligarchy. He is the oligarchy. AOC herself attended Boston University, a private school that costs over $70,000 per year. She went to the Met Gala, as you saw, where tickets cost over $35,000 each. This is the socialist playbook. And it's always the same. Promise equality, concentrate power, and then live like kings while everyone else suffers. The difference is that in places like Venezuela and Cuba, they had total control, and they could at least hide their corruption for a time. Whereas in Trump's America, their corruption lays bare for all to see. Socialism always ends in corruption. It's not about the specific people or the specific country. It's about the system itself. When you concentrate power and eliminate accountability, you create the perfect environment for those in charge to enrich themselves. So the next time AOC lectures you about inequality, remember where her campaign money goes. Remember the luxury hotels, the expensive meals, the Bad Bunny concerts. And remember that this is exactly how it starts every single time. Hey, before you go, gang, do not miss out. Every Friday, my weekly wrap-up gives you everything you missed during the week. Live streams, top videos, podcasts, events, and the week's biggest Patriot wins. Sign up free at turley.pub/recap and start ending your week with faith, family, and freedom.